Supreme Queen Zix Lilith the Magnificent, who had given herself that title after winning an intergalactic beauty pageant through questionable means involving 3 black holes and a stolen sock, sat upon her crystalline throne, tentacles drumming impatiently against its armrests. Her iridescent scales shimmed with barely contained annoyance as she gazed down at the human standing before her. The human in question, one Sarah I'll-fight God for a coffee Chen, stood with her hands casually tucked into the pockets of her Earth-issued military uniform, looking far too relaxed for someone who had just been dragged before the highest court of the Galactic Confederation. Human Chen, Queen Zix Lilith's translator, warbled, her natural speech being something between whale song and a garbage disposal having an existential crisis. You stand accused of crimes against the natural order of the universe. That's a bit dramatic, don't you think? Sarah raised an eyebrow. All I did was prove your species' fundamental theorem of space-time wrong, with a PowerPoint presentation, and some memes. Grand Vizier Blorp, who had failed to achieve a more impressive name during the naming ceremony due to an unfortunate sneeze, floated forward on his anti-gravity pad. You have undermined 10,000 years of Zixlaxian scientific superiority. Our entire society is based on the principle that we are the most intelligent species in the galaxy. Ah, Sarah nodded sagely. So this is about your wounded pride. Got it. Would it help if I apologized? Because I won't, but I'm curious if it would help. Queen Zix Lilith's scales turned a dangerous shade of puce. Our species conquered 17 galaxy clusters. We bend reality to our will. We created artificial stars for mood lighting. Cool, Sarah nodded, pulling out her phone. We invented cat videos. Want to see one? The court fell silent. Grand Vizier Blorp's eye stalks twitched with poorly concealed interest. This is precisely the problem, Queen Zix Lilith thundered. Your species was supposed to be primitive. We monitored you for centuries. You were still fighting over colored paper and shiny rocks when we first found you. You mean money? Sarah snorted. Yeah, we still do that. But we also split atoms for fun, turned our genes into Lego sets, and figured out how to make pizza rolls that don't explode in the microwave. We contain multitudes. From the gathered alien nobility, General K. Riz, the world ender, who, despite his title, had never actually ended any worlds, but did once accidentally destroy a small moon while trying to parallel park his battlecruiser, stepped forward. My queen, perhaps we should discuss the incident with their colony on Mars. Sarah's grin widened. Oh, you mean when you tried to invade our primitive Mars base? And found out we'd turn the entire planet into one giant paintball arena? For fun? Those projectiles stained our finest warships pink. General K. Riz's carapace rattled with indignation. It took weeks to clean. The worst part, Sarah continued, clearly enjoying herself, is that wasn't even military technology. That was literally just a bunch of bored colonists who turned their weekend hobby into a planetary defense system. We call it improvisation. You should try it sometime. Queen Zix Lilith's royal crown began to emit a high-pitched whine, a sure sign of monarch-level stress. But your species still can't agree on whether your circular bread discs should have small salted fish on them. Anchovies on pizza? That's your measure of civilization? Sarah laughed. Look, your magnificence, can I call you Zix? Here's the thing about humans, we can be simultaneously discovering the secrets of quantum mechanics and arguing about whether a hot dog is a sandwich. We can be developing faster than light travel while binge-watching cat videos. We're basically chaos incarnate, but with opposable thumbs and a concerning amount of creativity. Grand Vizier Blorp's pad drifted closer. The human speaks truth, my queen. Their information networks are filled with both groundbreaking scientific papers and something called memes. We still cannot determine which they take more seriously. That's the neat part, Sarah winked. Neither can we. At this point, Princess Exthelina the Void's Whisper, who had chosen her own title during her rebellious teenage phase and was now too embarrassed to change it, burst into the throne room. Mother, the humans have done something impossible. Queen Zix Lilith's tentacles curled in dread. What now? They've turned our most feared psychological warfare device into a musical instrument. They're calling it cosmic dubstep. Sarah brightened. Oh yeah, that was DJ Dave from Wisconsin. He figured out your fear-inducing resonance waves matched perfectly with his bass drops. He's going on tour next month, actually. 1 tickets. The Queen's translator gave up and emitted only a series of increasingly distressed beeps. And that's not all, Princess Exthelina continued, her voice trembling. They've started teaching our own species their ways. Last week, a group of our warriors learned something called breakdancing. Our military discipline is in shambles, Indeed, through the throne room's massive windows they could see a group of Extinction elite guards attempting to perform the worm with their multiple tentacles. "Look," Sarah said, taking pity on the clearly distressed queen, "maybe we can work something out. Cultural exchange program? You teach us about your mood lighting stars, we teach you about memes. Fair warning though, we're starting with Vine compilations." Queen Zix Lilith slumped in her throne, her magnificent title seeming to shrink. How did we so drastically misunderstand your species?" "Simple," Sarah shrugged. "You thought our chaos was weakness. Turns out it's our superpower. We're like that one kid in class who gets straight A's while doodling in their notebook and eating Tide Pods." "What's a Tide Pod?" asked Grand Vizier Blorp, instantly regretting the question when Sarah's grin turned mischievous. "Oh boy, wait until you hear about this phase of human history." And so began the Great Galactic Cultural Exchange, marked by the historic signing of the We Promise Not to Judge Each Other's Weird Stuff Treaty. The Zixlaxians learned about human memes, while humans learned to harness artificial stars for the ultimate TikTok lighting. General K. Rizd even started a successful YouTube channel reviewing Earth snacks, becoming particularly infamous for his emotional breakdown over discovering Doritos. As for Sarah Chen, she was appointed Earth's first ambassador of Vibes, a position created specifically because no one could figure out her actual job description, but everyone agreed she was perfect for it. Queen Zix Lilith eventually changed her title to the moderately impressed with humans, which coming from her was high praise indeed. Though she still couldn't understand why humans insisted on putting pineapple on pizza, some mysteries of the universe remain unsolved. The story continues, but at this moment, somewhere in the vast cosmos, a Zixlaxian warrior is trying to explain to their superior officer why they replaced the traditional war cry with "It's Wednesday, my dudes," and honestly, that's humanity's greatest victory of all. As the saga unfolds, rumors spread of a joint human Zixlaxian project to turn a black hole into the universe's largest disco ball, but that's a story for another cosmic court session. 3 galactic standard months after the historic court session, or as humans insisted on measuring it, about 47 pizza delivery cycles, the Galactic Confederation was experiencing what Queen Zix Lilith's therapist politely termed a collective existential crisis. It began when Ambassador Sarah Chen introduced the concept of casual Fridays to the Zixlaxian High Command. "You're moderately impressed with humans, Ness," General K. Rizd reported, now wearing a Hawaiian shirt over his battle carapace. "I regret to inform you that our feared Death Squadron has rebranded." Queen Zix Lilith, who had recently discovered the joy of stress balls, she needed 17 at once for all her tentacles, squeezed them anxiously. "Rebranded? How?" "They're now calling themselves the Vibe Squadron and have replaced our traditional battle formations with something called the Macarena." Princess X Thulina, who had by now fully embraced human culture, and was sporting a Thing 1 t-shirt. Her pet Quantum Singularity wore a matching Thing 2, perked up. "Oh, that's not even the best part, Mother. Show her the TikTok general." The holographic display activated, showing the once-feared Death Squadron performing a perfectly synchronized dance routine to "You Can't Touch This," while their battle cruisers formed a giant smiley face in the background. The Queen's stress balls began to emit warning creaks. How many views?" 3 trillion and counting, K. Rizd said proudly. "We're trending in 7 galaxy clusters. The hive mind of Sector 7 tried to cancel us because they say our moves are culturally appropriated from their hiveman waggle dance, but that just got us more followers." Meanwhile, in the newly established Department of Converting Human Chaos into Progress, or CHEP, though humans kept calling it Dascopy and making great movements, Grand Vizier Blorp was facing his own challenges. Ambassador Chen, he floated nervously on his now customized pad, decorated with flame decals because his daughter insisted it made it go faster. "I'm not sure about this brainstorming technique you've introduced." Sarah, now sporting a Galaxy's OKest Ambassador t-shirt, looked up from where she was teaching a group of young Zixlaxians how to make memes. "What's the problem, Blorpy?" "Well," he gestured to the idea board, "our scientists were supposed to be developing new weapons technology, but instead they've proposed a gun that shoots smaller guns, weaponized dad jokes, and something called Yu-Wu Cannon." "Those all sound amazing," Sarah nodded seriously, "especially the dad jokes one, psychological warfare at its finest." In another part of the palace, the royal archives were undergoing a crisis of their own. The head archivist, Master Zek Krill the All-Knowing, who was currently learning he didn't, in fact, know everything, was attempting to categorize human internet culture. But where, he demanded, waving all four arms in frustration, do we file this Rickroll phenomenon? Under psychological warfare? Cultural artifacts? Musical weapons? His assistant, young T-Pip, who had recently changed their name to Yeet, but hadn't told their parents yet, suggested maybe under things humans do just because they can. That was now their largest category, recently surpassing ways humans have nearly accidentally destroyed themselves, but somehow turned it to progress, and foods humans will try to deep fry. Back in the throne room, Queen Zix Lilith was dealing with a new crisis. The Galactic Economics Council had reported that the universal currency was being destabilized by something called Dogecoin, and several advanced civilizations had begun communicating exclusively in emojis. Ambassador Chen, the Queen's translator, warbled, now equipped with a sarcasm detection module, still in beta, when your species said they came in peace, was this what you meant? Cultural chaos? Sarah, who was teaching Princess Exthulina how to make Earth-style coffee, a substance now classified as a Class 4 reality-bending element in 3-star systems, grinned. Peace was never an option, you're moderately impressness, we come bearing memes. Just then Grand Vizier Blorp's pad crashed through the door, now sporting a spoiler and underglow lights. Oh my queen, the humans have done something unprecedented. Again, Queen Zix Lilith's crown began its familiar stress whine. What now? He paused for dramatic effect, having recently taken a human theater class, taught the Hivind of Sector 7 about interpretive dance. Through the palace windows they could see the massive, planet-sized consciousness that was the Hiva mind performing what appeared to be an interpretive dance version of the evolution of human memes, complete with a billion-entity recreation of Naim Cat. Sarah wiped away a proud tear. Beautiful, simply beautiful. But that's not all, Blorp continued, his pad now playing Running in the 90s as background music. The Mechanical Collective has discovered Netflix and is demanding a pause from Universal Conquest to finish just one more episode. The Quantum Consciousness of the Void has started a podcast about human conspiracy theories, and the Ancient Ones Beyond Space and Time have started a TikTok account. Princess Exthulina, now on her 7th cup of coffee and vibrating slightly out of phase with reality, exclaimed, "Oh, I follow them. Their dance moves are literally otherworldly." Queen Zix Lilith looked at her once mighty empire, now thoroughly infected with human chaos, then at her daughter who was trying to teach a quantum singularity to do a backflip, and finally at Ambassador Chen, who was innocently sipping coffee from a mug that read "That's what she said" in ancient Zix-Laxian script. "Ambassador," the Queen said slowly, "I believe I owe your species an apology. We thought we were the most advanced civilization in the galaxy because we conquered it. But you made it start a dance party." Sarah shrugged. "To be fair, that's basically humanity's whole approach to existence. If you can't beat the chaos, teach it to breakdance." As if to prove her point, a message came through. The Mechanical Collective had just discovered cat videos and was now dedicating 40% of its processing power to creating AI-generated cat memes. The story continues, as somewhere in the vast cosmos, an eldritch horror is learning about TikTok dances, a quantum consciousness is binge-watching The Office, and humanity's chaos spreads like a glitter bomb in a zero-gravity chamber. As the saga unfolds, rumors spread about the Ancient Ones Beyond Space and Time, starting a reaction video channel, but that's a story for another cosmic TikTok trend. 6 cosmic cycles later, or as humans now officially measured it, roughly 42 viral cat videos and a Disney subscription, the galaxy had transformed into something that made quantum physics look simple and predictable by comparison. The Ancient Ones Beyond Space and Time had become overnight sensations with their TikTok account at Eldritch_Veebs_only. Their most viral video, POV, you're a mortal witnessing incomprehensible horror but it's set to Material Girl, had broken every known law of physics and several that hadn't been invented yet. "You're still processing all thisness," Grand Vizier Blorp announced. His hover pad now tricked out with a full DJ setup and RGB lighting. "We have a situation in the Andromeda Galaxy." Queen Zix Lilith, who had recently started a meditation podcast called Keeping Your Tentacles Untangled in a Human Universe, looked up from her newly installed gaming chair. "What is it this time? Did the Mechanical Collective try to download more RAM again?" Worse, Blorp's eye stalks twitched nervously. The Hivumand of Sector 7 has challenged the Ancient Ons to a dance battle. Sarah Chen, now sporting a crown that read Chaos Queen, a gift from several thousand civilizations who had accepted her as their honorary sovereign of entropy, spat out her 9th coffee of the morning. Finally, I've been shipping this call-up since forever. Princess Extinction, who had become a successful streamer under the name VoidGirl Gaming, was already setting up her broadcast equipment. This is going to break the extranet. My followers are going to lose their collective consciousness. The stage was set in the neutral territory of the galactic core, where a massive arena had been constructed out of dark matter and bedazzled with what appeared to be galaxy-sized LED strips. The ancient Ons manifested as a swirling void of impossible colors that somehow managed to wear a snapback hat, while the Hive Mind appeared as a trillion entities forming a perfect recreation of a dance crew uniform. The rules are simple, announced General K. Rizds, who had found his true calling as a cosmic event promoter. Best dance routine wins. No using black holes as props this time. We all remember what happened at the last dance-off. And please, no breaking the space-time continuum unless it's absolutely necessary for the choreography. The competition began. The Ancient Ones opened with a mind-bending performance that combined eldritch horror with breakdancing, their tentacles of void moving in ways that made topologists cry. Their signature move, the reality shifter, involved transforming the very fabric of existence into what appeared to be a giant disco ball. The hive mind countered with a billion-entity synchronized routine that turned the laws of physics into what Sarah described as basically a dubstep remix of quantum mechanics. Their finale involved splitting into smaller hive minds to perform a perfect recreation of every viral dance trend since the invention of social media, simultaneously. As the galaxy watched with bated breath, those species that needed to breathe anyway, something unprecedented happened. The mechanical collective, who had been quietly watching from their sector while mining cryptocurrency, decided to join in with a surprise performance. Their entrance music, a remix of dial-up modem sounds and Never Gonna Give You Up, did the mechanical collective just rick-roll the entire galaxy? Queen Zix Lilith asked, her crown stress whine reaching frequencies only quantum dogs could hear. Oh, it gets better, Sarah grinned, pointing at the extranet trends. Look who just joined the chat. The quantum consciousness of the void, not to be outdone, had materialized in all possible and impossible dimensions simultaneously, bringing with it what could only be described as interdimensional K-pop. What followed was either the greatest dance battle in the history of existence or the most elaborate meme ever created. No one could quite tell the difference anymore. The ancient Ons were hitting the woe across 11 dimensions. The Hivemend was flossing with a trillion bodies, the mechanical collective was performing binary code breakdancing, and the quantum consciousness was existing and not existing in a perfect rhythm. From her throne room, now converted into a reaction video studio, Queen Zix Lilith watched as every advanced civilization in the galaxy came together in what could either be described as the ultimate dance-off or the most sophisticated form of diplomatic relations ever conceived. Ambassador Chen, she said, her translator now equipped with auto-tune, when your species first appeared in our galaxy, we thought you were primitive because you spent so much time creating and sharing what we thought was meaningless content. Sarah nodded, already editing the dance battle footage into what would become the most viral video in galactic history. And now I understand, the Queen said, as her royal guard performed a perfectly synchronized TikTok dance in the background. You weren't just sharing content, you were sharing chaos, creativity, and what's the word? Vibes. Princess Extinction offered her quantum singularity pet, now wearing matching influencer merchandise. Yes, vibes, Queen Zix Lilith agreed. You turned the entire galaxy into one giant collaborative art project, and somehow, that worked better than any peace treaty we ever tried to enforce. As if to prove her point, the extranet exploded with a new trend. Species across the galaxy were recreating the dance battle in their own styles. The crystalline entities of the Crab Nebula were teaching the silicon-based hive of Betelgeuse how to moonwalk. The energy beings of the Horsehead Nebula were having a vibe check with the plasma consciousness of the Pleiades. So, Sarah said, checking her phone, should we tell them about Earth's next export? What's that? Asked Grand Vizier Blorp, his hoverpad now somehow verified on space Twitter. Karaoke. The entire court fell silent, then burst into chaos as everyone tried to call dibs on their song choices. Somewhere in the distance they could hear the Ancient Ones practicing Sweet Caroline. And so, as the galaxy prepared for its first universal karaoke night, with the Hive Mind already claiming Bohemian Rhapsody and the mechanical collective downloading the entire history of Broadway musicals, one thing became clear: Humanity hadn't just survived first contact, they had turned it into the universe's biggest party. The story continues, as somewhere in the cosmic dance floor of existence, an ancient one is trying to hit the high notes in "I will always love you." A quantum consciousness is attempting to exist in perfect harmony, and humanity's greatest export, organized chaos, spreads through the stars like a cosmic flash mob. In tune or not, because hey, that's the human way. As the saga unfolds, rumors spread about the Mechanical Collective starting a boy band, but that's a story for another intergalactic talent show. Epilogue: breaking news from the Galactic Entertainment Network. Breaking: the Ancient On's cover of Sweet Caroline has officially broken the extranet. Witnesses report that even the laws of physics joined in for the bum 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 part. In related news, humanity has been nominated for a Galactic Cultural Achievement Award in the category of Most Efficient Chaos Distribution. The ceremony will be hosted by General K. Rizd and live-streamed across all known and several theoretical dimensions. When asked for comment, Ambassador Sarah Shen simply said, "Wait till they discover your revision." The galaxy collectively shuddered in anticipation.